Presented by the 2015 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Welcome to beautiful Yankee Stadium. It's another gorgeous day. 23 degrees, slightly cloudy, but you couldn't ask for a better day for baseball. Blue Jays are trying to sweep the New York Yankees. They're looking to sweep a series here in New York for the first time since May 2003 when they won a 4-game series. The last time they won a 3-game series here in New York and swept the Yankees 1998. Take a look at the starting lineup for the Blue Jays. Josh Donaldson in that second hole. He's got a 6-game hit streak. He's hit 4 home runs and driven in 7 runs over those 6 games with a .364 average. Chris Colabello, his career numbers against the Yankees are ridiculous. He had a pinch hit single here in the series. He's 11 for 17 with a pair of homers and 6 RBIs. And they'll face Masahiro Tanaka as Tanaka will try to salvage the final game of this series.
Tanaka's only going to make his 16th start of the season because he basically missed the month of May. He was placed on the disabled list on April the 29th with right wrist tendonitis and a right forearm strain. He was reinstated the first week of June and made the start there in Seattle versus Toronto's career. He's been sensational, 3-1 with a .322 earned run average. That's 4 career starts versus the Blue Jays, and he's allowed 6 hits or fewer in all but 4 of them. But he did take the loss on opening day to the Toronto Blue Jays. The Yankees are 11-4 in his 15 starts this season, so he's always a tough customer for the Blue Jays.
Well, it sure is. He's just 26 years old. Let's take a look at the defense behind Tanaka. Brett Gardner back in left field today. Did not start in the game yesterday. Ellsbury and Beltran in center and right. Gold Glovers at third base. That's Chase Headley, Gregorius, and Stephen Drew. Drew back in the lineup after not starting yesterday. Mark Teixeira, 5-time Gold Glover at first. The veteran Brian McCann will handle Tanaka here this afternoon.
Big outfield here at Yankee Stadium, so you better have a good center fielder. Jacoby Ellsbury has no errors this season. His .996 career fielding percentage is the best mark among Major League outfielders.
First pitch of the game is a little cutter, and Tulowitzki swings and misses, and we are underway. Tulowitzki just 1 hit in the series. He's 1 for 9, but that was a home run in yesterday's game. A little insurance home run in the 7th inning. This is the first time Tulowitzki has faced Tanaka.
Thought that he might go up there and try to look at some of the pitches because Tanaka is pretty tricky. He's got a little bit of everything, but Tulo has gone up there. He has seen 2 pitches and he has swung 2 pitches.
0-2. Fouled off at home plate. What's the Blue Jays mindset today against Tanaka?
Talked to some of the players and I talked to some of the coaches this morning, and they were saying, you know what we have to do? We've got to get Tanaka to get that split finger fastball up in the strike zone. If you do that, I think we're going to be okay. He's tricky. He'll throw more sliders and more fastballs to righties and more splitters to the left-handed batters in the Blue Jay lineup.
Ball and 2 strikes to Tulowitzki. 10 games against the Yankees prior to this one. He's hit .303 with 3 home runs. I mentioned Tanaka is 26 years old. This is his 2nd year with the Yankees. Bounced in the dirt. Tanaka played 7 years in Japan with the Rakuten Golden Eagles, and he signed that lucrative contract that stretches out to 2020, but he has an opt-out in 2017. I can't imagine him leaving the Yankees.
No, why would you want to do that? He's a star here. They love him.
Tulowitzki strikes out, and Tanaka is a tough customer.
How about these different pieces of the pie that your Blue Jay batters are going to have to deal with this afternoon with Masahiro Tanaka? He's got the fastball. It's about 92 or 93. He mixes in the splitter, a slider, and a cutter. a curveball and a changeup, a little bit of everything. He doesn't really fall into patterns, or he doesn't fall into ways that he attacks hitters. He's different. He's got a feel for pitching out there. Against that splitter, though, you got to make him bring it up. They're only hitting 196 against that splitter this season.
High, deep drive to center field. There's Murray back at the wall. Goodbye, home run. Josh Donaldson once again giving the Blue Jays an early lead. He homered on Friday night with one out in the first. That has been a problem for Tanaka lately. He has now given up 7 home runs in 5 starts since the All-Star break.
3 of them against Baltimore a couple of starts ago, and it's starting nice for the Blue Jays this afternoon. Josh Donaldson was not going to wait around until he got a splitter. First fastball he saw, he put a charge into it.
Donaldson continues to add to his career high in home runs, 31 now.
Fastball, they wanted that ball away, and it's right down Broadway. And just like the other night, Josh Donaldson gets the Blue Jays off with a home run.
Same situation. 1 out home run in the first. There's that cutter in there for a strike. It's 1-0-2 to Bautista.
Well, if you want to hit a home run here, get the ball airborne the other way. Donaldson does that, parks it into the bullpen of the Yankees.
Squibbed off the end of the bat. Donaldson has changed his entire approach as a hitter since coming to the Blue Jays. When you think about the ballparks in the AL East, opposite field home runs are quite easy in this division.
Yeah, a lot easier than the division he came from, Oakland and Anaheim and Seattle. There, if you want to hit a home run in that division, you got to yank a ball to left field to get all of it. In this division, not so.
Jose Bautista's got a 5-game hit streak going. He hits one high and deep to left. Gardner is at the track. This one's going to stay in the ballpark. Bautista is retired. 2 down. Well, Josh Donaldson is closing ground on the front runners in the American League home run race. Mike Trout of the Angels has 33. Nelson Cruz of the Mariners with 32. And there's Josh Donaldson just ahead of J.D. Martinez and Mark Teixeira.
And the importance of the home runs, the ones that put them up ahead or tie them up or close and late, Josh Donaldson has come up with some big home runs already this season.
This is Deanna Navarro, who's behind the plate today. He's moved up into the cleanup spot. Navarro began his career with the New York Yankees. He was one of those highly touted catching prospects we've always heard about with New York. They've had a host of young catchers come through their system. Navarro's done a terrific job catching for the Blue Jays, and especially with Burley and Estrada. Of course, David Price, he was the big winner yesterday, and he was supported by a Blue Jays home run, the grand slam, and a solo shot. Hit hard on the ground by Navarro. Didi Gregorius on the first base side of second. But the Blue Jays, they will wear out starting pitchers early in the ball game, and Josh Donaldson, for a second time in this series, goes deep in his first at bat. This one, another opposite field home run for Donaldson, number 31. The Blue Jays lead it 1-0. And let's take a look at the batting order for Joe Girardi's New York Yankees. Jacoby Ellsbury is 0 for 8 in this series. For the season, he's hitting just .250, and this is a guy that's hit over .300 for his career against the Blue Jays. Different story for him this season. And how about Brian McCann, the fine hitting catcher of the Yankees? He too is 0 for 8 in the series with 3 strikeouts. And for McCann, he's just 2 for 22 all season long against the Blue Jays. They pitched him very tough.
Now to do it one more time as the Blue Jays try to finish off this series here, and they're going to do it with Marco Estrada. Marco is making his 18th start of the season, 9-6 with a .340 earned run average. This is his second career start versus the Yankees. He lost to the Yankees back at Rogers Center in May when he made the start there. He's coming off a really good outing, 6 2/3 innings. He only gave up 1 earned run to the Minnesota Twins. That's his third start with 2 or fewer hits in that game. Just gave up 2 hits to Minnesota, so he's looking to continue that here this afternoon.
Josh Donaldson with the home run has given Marco Estrada that 1-0 lead. Jacoby Ellsbury, he is 3 for 5 against Estrada head to head. Estrada gets ahead with the first pitch strike. Just 63 games for Ellsbury. He missed 43 games with a hamstring injury. Pulls this one into the seats down the right side.
I think that's going to be a big pitch for Marco, like it was in his last start against Minnesota, the curveball. Deanna Navarro introducing that a little bit more each time he takes the mound.
The Blue Jays have now scored 67 runs in the first inning. And with the addition of Tulowitzki in the top spot, and then Donaldson, Bautista, and generally Encarnacion, boy, before a starter can really get settled into the game, he's looking at an early deficit. Spoke with the grand slam yesterday, batting in the 5th spot. Ellsbury strikes out. High fastball gets him. Well, everything for the Blue Jays has been improved recently, and the defense is included. More speed in the outfield with the presence of Ben Revere, Pilar, and Bautista in center and right. And how about the addition of Troy Tulowitzki for his career? This is his 10th season. He's committed just 74 errors. Donaldson, Tulowitzki, Goins, and Smoke, and Deanna Navarro behind the plate.
What a combination with Navarro and Estrada so far this season. Navarro's caught him 9 times. It's his 9th time catching Estrada, and they have really clicked.
Brett Gardner goes after the first pitch. That's going to stay in the ballpark. Bautista makes the catch. 2 quick outs for Estrada here in the first.
You know, I started looking up the numbers of Marco Estrada when Deanna Navarro has started to catch him, and his earned run average, Marco's earned run average in the games that Navarro has caught is microscopic, just 232. So he's using the high fastball a little bit more. He's using the curveball just a little bit more. He's cutting the ball. 232 earned run average. You can win a lot of games that way.
So this is Alex Rodriguez. Rodriguez batting .278 for the season. You know, I asked Estrada about Navarro and Russell Martin. He said, I've never had 2 catchers call such good games for me. And he included Martin in that. He said they really do a great job. I haven't had to think about any kind of setting up of hitters. I can just concentrate on my execution.
You know, all you have to do, and we've sat here and we have watched these games when Navarro and Russell Martin have caught. Very rarely have we seen pitchers shake them off. Estrada and Navarro, they have really worked well together.
Marco didn't make his first start until May 5th. Looked out of the bullpen to begin the season. Rodriguez pulls it to third. Donaldson takes the scoop and throws him out. Good start for Marco Estrada. Just 7 pitches, and the Yankees go down in order in the first.
Price yesterday, and we've talked all about what he's meant to the Blue Jays on the field and off of it in the clubhouse. And yesterday, when we gathered around Price's locker, we noticed a piece of paper above it with a handwritten note, and all it says is, if you don't like it, pitch better. So we asked David Price about that, and it's a letter that he has taken with him wherever he's pitched. It started back in Tampa. It's an expression that a lot of the guys used to say, especially a guy like James Shields, simply meaning if a player is unhappy with the way things went, if he got pulled after 6 innings, if you don't like it, simply pitch better. It's just another sign of what David Price brings to this team on the field and off it. He said it's one of those things that in Tampa Bay, players were all able to kind of just be themselves. And he actually, guys, he compared John Gibbons to that same type of manager that we heard so much about Joe Madden. Allows players to be themselves, not constantly over them, policing them. And that's why we're seeing a very loose group of players, led, of course, now by David Price.
Chris Colabello getting the DH duties this afternoon. Edwin Encarnacion injured his hand about 10 days ago in BP, and he's really has an inflamed knuckle on his left hand, and he has been taken out of the lineup. Colabello with another base hit against New York. Colabello will stop at first. How about Chris Colabello? He is now 12 for 18 against the Yankees in his career. That's his second hit and as many at-bats in this series.
Blue Jays' secret weapon right now. It's a pitch that is elevated by Tanaka and hit in the left field by Colabello. I think the Blue Jays are doing the right thing to give Edwin this afternoon off. He's had good numbers against Tanaka. But you give him today off, and then the off day tomorrow, give him 2 days to get him healthy for that Oakland series.
Colabello is 8 for 10 this season against the Yankees. This is Justin Smoke. He had the big swing of the bat yesterday. Smoke hit his first career grand slam, broke the game wide open. It was a 0-0 tie in the 6th. Bases loaded with 1 out when Smoke went deep to right center. Hard to imagine, but it was the first Blue Jays grand slam home run they ever hit at Yankee Stadium.
$280-something games, something along those lines.
Well, it's hard to fathom that you have Joe Carter and Devon White and all the great hitters over the years, Dave Winfield, and you'd think somebody would have hit a grand slam here at Yankee Stadium. But yesterday, Smoke's grand slam was the first.
It's a good pass, good swing on that breaking ball from Nova. I think he's going to get a lot of off-speed pitches from these Yankee pitchers trying to have him yank it, but this one is hung up in the strike zone, and Justin Smoke puts it in the right field bleachers. That made it 4-0, and really the Blue Jays got a lot of momentum after that hit.
Well, they sure did, and they would have had another home run in the 7th and get an RBI single by Russell Martin in the 8th. They shut out the Yankees just for the 4th time this season. New York and Toronto have been shut out 4 times. The only team that's been shut out fewer times this season in the American League, the Tigers, have been shut out 3 times. Tanaka stepped off the rubber before he made that fake to first. 2-2. Colabello with the leadoff single. Tanaka and McCann having trouble getting their heads together on this pitch. Nathan Eovaldi opened up the series on Friday night. Well, he had good stuff, but the Blue Jays won that game 2-1 in extra innings. How might the similarities between Tanaka and Eovaldi play into the hands of the Blue Jays?
You know, you and I were talking about that this morning, about the similarities between Tanaka and Eovaldi. Eovaldi throws harder. That's obvious. That guy was bringing it 96, 97 miles an hour. But the splitter is about the same type of pitch. They both use it at the same time for strikeouts. It's not as hard. Tanaka's is not as hard as Eovaldi's, but still very effective.
Ground ball. Drew goes to Gregorius at second, back to first, double play. 4-6-3 double play that erases the leadoff single, and Masahiro Tanaka made his major league debut a year ago. In fact, He made that debut against the Toronto Blue Jays at Rogers Center, and you look at his last 2 seasons, and hitters have made some adjustments against Tanaka.
Make him get the ball up, and when you do that, you can see the earned run average. It's a run higher this season, and home runs have started to go up. We've already seen that this afternoon with the home run by Josh Donaldson. So a little bit more information from Tanaka. Plus, Buck, he's had some injuries. He missed basically the month of May with that wrist and elbow problem.
He's also got a torn elbow ligament, and everybody's just keeping their fingers crossed as far as his health. They're not really sure how long Tanaka's going to hold up. This is Ryan Goins. Goins batting with 2 outs and nobody on. Just on the outside corner. Ryan's had a little bit of a tough stretch lately on the road. He's 4 for his last 25 at bats on the road. That covers his last 13 road games. 1-2, 2 outs. Not close. How much difference in the velocity between Tanaka last year and this year?
It's down. I remember seeing him last year. He was throwing a lot harder. His split was a lot harder too. Now it just looks like it tumbles. I think he's really trying to concentrate on keeping the ball down.
That's a cut fastball. Goins and strikes out. Leadoff single. Tanaka retires 3 straight here. But go to the bottom of the second. Blue Jays lead it 1-0. For him over his last 9 starts.
And it all started with that gem he threw against the Baltimore Orioles when he had a no-hitter into the 8th, ERA of 2.5, opponent's batting average 186, and then the whip outstanding, under 1 at 0.94. He's using all of his pitches. He's working well. He's beaten some good teams. He beat that Baltimore team, and he beat Detroit, Tampa Bay, Kansas City, and the last time out against Minnesota pitched into the 7th inning and won that ball game.
Blue Jays starters are 8-0 since the 29th of July. They have really pitched great lately, and they've pitched deep into the ball games, which keeps your bullpen in order. This is Mark Teixeira. He's having a great bounce back season. Teixeira has 30 home runs. There's that changeup, very good pitch for a starter.
Teixeira's got that natural home run swing, doesn't he, with the natural uppercut. So just get the ball up in the air here at Yankee Stadium and take your chances.
Last couple of years have been disappointing because of injuries to Teixeira. And he told me today around the batting cage, he says, you know what, this game is tough enough when you're 100% healthy, but it's impossible trying to play with injuries. comes out in that outfield shift, takes a hit away from Teixeira. There's where that shift works to a charm.
You know, it's got to be really frustrating if you're a pull hitter like that and you hit a ball that hard. Well, that's why you look at all the numbers and you look at the sabermetrics and you put your defense accordingly. It says that Teixeira pulls the ball and hits a ball like that. 10 years ago, that's a base hit. He's standing over at first base.
By McCann goes after the first pitch. Donaldson over near the third base foul line makes the catch. McCann 0 for 9 in this series. So he pops out. This Yankee lineup has really struggled over its last 4 games. As a team, they come into this game with a 176 batting average over the last 4 games. Now, if you go back to the previous 4 games, they had scored 40 runs in the previous 4 games, but then that knuckleballer Stephen Wright of the Red Sox threw him in a funk.
And Joe Girardi had an inkling that that might happen, right?
They were really swinging the bats well before that Stephen Wright start here on Wednesday. As a team, the Yankees were hitting .323 for their previous 7 games. Hitting
everything, and then you run into the knuckleballer. Joe Girardi was saying knuckleballers can put you into slumps.
And they faced 2 knuckleballers in the span of 3 games. R.A. Dickey of the Blue Jays opened up this series and really set a positive tone for the Blue Jays. 7 innings, 6 hits, a single run allowed by R.A. Dickey. There's a base hit up the middle for Carlos Beltran, the right fielder. A 2-out single.
Me, I don't believe knuckleballers put you in a slump.
Really?
I really don't, because you're a hitter. You've been doing it your whole life. You face a knuckleballer every now and then. You're not going to change your swing, and you're not against a knuckleballer. And you're not going to change it when you go back to face a regular kind of guy. So I don't believe that myself.
Interesting. No, Cito Gaston used to make sure John Olerud never faced a knuckleballer when he had a chance.
I think it's more mental than it is physical.
Talk yourself into it? Well, most slumps are mental. This is Chase Headley. Headley, the third baseman. The Yankees have scored 2 or fewer runs in 4 straight games. It's the second time they've had a stretch like that this season. And you play the Blue Jays and you can manage just 2 runs, you're going to lose.
It's really interesting how this series has shaped up. It's almost like both of these teams got their best pitchers ready for this series. And the Blue Jays, till today, they've just outpitched the Yankees. It's not like the Blue Jays are hitting a cover off the ball. Some pretty good pitchers on the Yankee side now, too.
Absolutely. The Blue Jays, they have hit 4 home runs in this series. The Yankees have 1. David Price, he backed up the great start by R.A. Dickey. Price shut out the Yankees on 3 hits over 7 innings. And he's had 2 terrific starts for the Jays since joining the team. Chase Headley 2-1. He pulls this down the right side. That's going to sneak into the seats. Nice catch by a fan down there. And sitting in the first row, he didn't have a glove. He just reached up and barehanded, much like Josh Donaldson.
That's got to be a lot of high fives then from all his buddies. Watch this. Now, see, he can argue when a guy makes an error on the field. If I can make this play barehanded, you better be able to catch it with a glove.
That's a great shot. That made his day for sure. Oh, Estrada uses that high fastball again. That's the same pitch he threw to Ellsbury to record the strikeout in the first.
season, play meaningful games late in the season, and this team's doing that, and so I'm excited to be a part of it.
Cliff Pennington, a switch-hitting infielder. He can play third, short, and second base. He was originally drafted by the Oakland A's. He was a first-round pick in 2005. And he's a guy that really adds another layer of versatility. Switch hitter that can, his primary position is short, but he can play second and has on a regular basis.
We asked John Gibbons how he fits with this roster. He said, well, if there's a tough left-hander on the mound, he will probably play second base. And I think this is a direct correlation to Devin Travis being on the disabled list, another middle infielder who can hit right-handed. He could also play the outfield if they have to, mostly on the infield, and he's a right-handed hitter. That's the key against tough left-handed pitching.
This year in Arizona, he appeared in 5 games in the outfield, actually started 3 games in left field for the Diamondbacks. Kevin Pillar, Ben Revere, and then Troy Tulowitzki. 8-9-1 for the Jays. Kevin 2 for 2 against Tanaka. A little bit of a struggle for him over his last 8 games. Tanaka really is a tough pitcher for any lineup because he can throw so many pitches and he commands them all so well.
And he just doesn't fall into any pattern. Okay, 2-0, you're going to get a fastball. Well, not necessarily. You might get the cutter. 2 strikes, you might get the splitter, you think? So you start to look for, things like he does versus lefties and versus righties. I was talking to Brooke Jacoby today, and he was talking about the ability to throw the ball in the zone. And against left-handers over his last few starts, he's only been able to do that with 2 strikes, 1 for 29. So they want to lay off of that splitter. That's close.
That's pretty good fastball. It straightened up Pillar, but missed the plate inside. It's a full count. Rip Jacoby always giving his hitters lots of information and trying to put together a game plan with them.
He looks at all the numbers and he studies everything. He was saying over his last couple of starts that splitter has been dancing out of the strike zone. So there's a difference between splitters in the zone and splitters out of the zone. And he's told his hitters, hey, you got to lay off of that low one because it's going to be out of the strike zone.
That's a little looper to Stephen Drew, the second baseman. That's 1 down here in the 3rd.
The 2015 Honda Civic is Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yankee Stadium with so much rich baseball tradition. Of course, the Monument Park beyond the fence in center field. And it's a great place to come early in the afternoon before day game and tour Monument Park. Ben Revere, a fielder, hitting .292 for the season. Revere is playing in his 9th game since coming over from Philadelphia. We haven't seen him run yet, but of course with this Blue Jays lineup, you have to really pick your spots very carefully. You don't want to run into an out. There's so many potent bats in there.
Does a good job of making that pitcher work, doesn't he? It's like having another leadoff hitter, if you ask me. He just happens to be hitting in the number 9 spot.
John Gibbons put him there just because he didn't want to disrupt the rest of the hitters in the top of the order. This is off the end of the bat. Headley throws Revere out. 2 down.
He'll take his share of pitches. He'll make that pitcher work. And when he gets on base with his speed, that's what you want. You want him to get on base. And his career numbers have been pretty good.
The winning Encarnacion on the bench today. There's an off day tomorrow, and hopefully he'll be able to heal up a little bit. He's kind of banged up. He's had shoulder problems earlier in the season. He's got a finger problem right now, but boy, is he swinging the bat well. Edwin with the great hit streak going. He's hit 11 straight games. Troy Tulowitzki struck out on a cutter his first time up, one of 2 strikeouts for Tanaka so far. Another change of speed, and he goes back and forth with so many of his pitches. He'll throw a hard splitter and then back off a little bit to get a little more depth in it. Cuts the ball, runs the ball inside. Makes you worry about so many locations and so many different speeds.
Yeah, on top of all the great pitches, it's the speed. Just keep watching the miles per hour and the variations that you're going to see this afternoon.
It's a fly ball into right. Beltran gets over there, makes the catch. Tulowitzki's retired. Tanaka has retired 5 straight. The Yankees trail 1-0.
Turning this Blue Jays team into a World Series contender, and you can read all about it in the next edition of Sportsnet magazine. In fact, it's the inside story behind the scenes on how Alex Anthopoulos managed to do it. You can download the Sports Magazine app to get the issue. Rogers and Shaw Sportsnet 1 customers can get a digital subscription for free. Go to sportsnet.ca/magazine for details. Buck?
Thank you very much, Barry. And certainly it's an interesting read. Arden Zwelling did a perfect job on filling in all of the blanks on the trade deadline deals that brought Ben Revere and others to the Blue Jays. This is Didi Gregorius to lead things off.
It wasn't just at the trade deadline that Alex did his best work. I mean, who can forget the Josh Donaldson trade this winter? And how about this afternoon's starting pitcher? What a job Marco Estrada's done this year.
Marco Estrada was acquired by the Blue Jays in November in a trade for Adam Lind. Brewers and the Blue Jays agreeing on that deal. And quite honestly, everybody thought, okay, well, that's a good deal. You know, change of scenery for both players might help them out a little bit. And Marco had lost his starting job in Milwaukee to Jimmy Nelson, the youngster that came up. So Marco was pitching out of the pen second half of the season.
And what did everybody say when they got Marco? Oh, yeah, it's a nice little addition to the bullpen. Wrong.
Well, and Marco, to his credit, could have competed for the roster spot in the rotation had he not sprained his ankle in spring training. He sprained his ankle, missed about 2 weeks of activity, which really set him back. There's a curveball, and that one was up. Gregorius waited back, strokes it into left. When we talk about Alex Anthopoulos and his ability to improve this roster via the trade, and the Estrada trade probably the first of some very good trades that the Blue Jays pulled out.
Yeah, first of all, you have to have the players that the other team wants, and you got to find a trading partner. I thought they did a good job of trading Anthony Ghost for Devin Travis. They needed a second baseman, and he's a keeper. Estrada, you've seen what he has done. And then the Josh Donaldson, they needed some of the young players, and they had them in their system to be able to pull off that trade to get Josh Donaldson. And, of course, the other big guys, Tulowitzki and Price.
Stephen Drew drops down a perfect bunt. Navarro throws to Smoke to retire Drew. Yankees using the sacrifice here in the third. 2-3 on the putout. Drew moves Gregorius into scoring position back to the top of the order.
And if you're struggling scoring runs like the Yankees have been, if you're Joe Girardi, you got to try anything. You get a leadoff single, you certainly don't want to get a ground ball and roll into a double play. So Girardi sacrifices. Now he's going to take a couple of shots to drive him in.
Ellsbury and Gardner, the next two batters, and they have always been tough on the Blue Jays. They both have hit over 300 for their careers against the Blue Jays. But Ellsbury struck out his first time up this afternoon. He is now 0 for 9 in this series. There's a pop down the left side. Ben Revere's got speed, but he can't get to it. It's on the warning track and bounces into the seat.
And after that pitch, look at Deanna Navarro go right out to talk to Marco Estrada. He had a definite message he wanted to say to his starting pitcher.
Yeah, he really bolted from behind the plate as that ball was rattling around in the seats. He went right out there, put his hand on Estrada's shoulder. I don't think he liked the curveball that he threw to Gregorius. He left that one up, and he left one up to Ellsbury there on that foul ball. One thing Navarro has done for Estrada is he has used the high fastball much more effectively, and he's also brought the curveball into the mix.
And both of those pitches, the high fastball and the curveball, start on the same plane, out of his hand.
Says popped up left side of the infield. Tulowitzki, the shortstop, just on the edge of the dirt. Ellsbury is now 0 for 10 in this series. The Blue Jays are really doing a good job of keeping the top two guys off base.
You have to. They are the table setters for the Yankees. They're the guys that get on base and they score the runs, steal the bases. They both have really good speed. So you're right. They've done a good job of keeping those guys off before the big bats come up.
Brett Gardner did not start in the game yesterday with Price on the mound. He came into the game late as a pinch hitter. He struck out against Sanchez in the eighth. There's that curveball. First pitch in there for a strike.
Talk about using that as a get me over type of pitch. So, you know, I want to give the guy something different to look at. So you just spin that curveball up on the first pitch. Puts it in his head, that batter.
For another good fastball right on the outside corner. And you can see a lot of the Yankee hitters, after they take a strike, they're kind of frustrated. They step out of the box. They say, what's he going to throw me now? Blue Jays catchers in this series have really mixed up the pitches very effectively. Russell Martin with Dickey and Price. Now Navarro with Estrada. Defensive swing from Gardner. Tulowitzki throws on the run in time to get Gardner, and he slams his helmet to the ground. Another frustrating at bat for the Yankees against the Blue Jays. Well, the Blue Jays lead it 1-0. Josh Donaldson providing the home run. Bautista has homered in this series, and Deanna Navarro hitting in the cleanup spot.
or on demand in True HD. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and much more. It also includes a free At-Bat 15 subscription. Watch baseball at home, at the office, or on the go. Season-long subscription packages are available. Visit BlueJays.com for more details. And I think people, Buck, are enjoying their Sunday afternoons, but even if they have to go out, they've got their phones, they have their iPads, and they're watching the Jays wherever they are.
There are a lot of people watching the Jays right now. They have won 7 straight, trying to make it 8 in a row. Donaldson, Bautista, Navarro for the Blue Jays, 2, 3, and 4 in their lineup. And if you didn't tune in early, you missed Josh Donaldson's first inning home run. Second time he's hit a first inning home run in this series. Just enough movement from that cutter takes it off the end of the bat.
It might be the last fastball he sees this afternoon from Tanaka. He homered off of a fastball. He might show him one. I think he's going to try and throw breaking balls the rest of the afternoon.
There's the splitter. 3 strikeouts for Tanaka. This is the home run swing back in the first.
Fastball right down Broadway, and he sends it to Broadway. For the Blue Jays run in the first inning, and now that at bat, 3 straight breaking balls, a couple of sliders, and then a splitter. Ends that at bat very quickly for Josh.
So Donaldson is down on strikes to start the 4th. Jose Bautista facing Tanaka. Bautista is one of just 12 players in history to have back-to-back home run titles. That happened in 2010, 2011. High and deep to left. He's done it again. Home run number 26, a no-doubter. The Blue Jays have absolutely pounded the baseball here in this series against the Yankees. '26th home run, 78th RBI, and the Blue Jays lead it 2-0.
You know, they haven't put together big rallies and sustained innings, but they've hit the ball out of the ballpark. That ball, I don't know if you could have put it on a tee any better than that for Jose Bautista, and to his credit, he didn't miss it. He got all of that pitch.
Blue Jays have hit 2 home runs in each of the 3 games in this series. They've outbombed the Bombers. You know what? And when you look at this lineup, you talk about Tanaka really grinding on Donaldson. He threw him 3 breaking balls. And then even though Bautista has had terrific success, he may have lost his focus just a bit and missed with that fastball.
Look at that right down the middle right there. And you can see from the reaction from Tanaka, he knew he made a mistake.
That's the 8th home run Tanaka has given up in 5 starts since the All-Star break.
You see Tanaka flinch after he swung the bat.
Two and 0 to Navarro on the outside corner for a strike.
I think that's 14 home runs now that Tanaka has given up.
Tanaka has given up 14 home runs here at home. Just 4 on the road. This is a hitter-friendly park for sure, but I don't care where Bautista hits him. When he hits him like that, no park's going to hold him. 2-2 to Navarro. Pulled foul outside of first. The New York Mets lost last night. That saw their 7-game win streak come to an end. The Blue Jays coming into this game have won 7 in a row. That's the most in the majors. The active win streak. If they win their 8th in a row, it'll be the 2nd winning streak of 8 or more games this season. The Blue Jays haven't done that as a team since 1985, 30 years ago.
It's all coming together, isn't it? Aren't they going to honor that team when we get back home?
This next weekend, the 85 Blue Jays will be honored. Bell, Barfield, and Mosby will have a bobblehead given away. Navarro flies out to center.
You know, that's a classic home run swing right there from Bautista, and the high finish. Now you can watch that one because that was a thing of beauty.
Yeah, and you know, I've never hit one like that. I'm sure you have. But when you square it up like Bautista did, it's no doubt about it. It's like that great golf drive when you really feel like the ball compresses up against the club. You know it's going to go a long way.
Yeah, I've never hit a ball like that traveled like that. Let me rephrase that. I've never hit a baseball like that, but I've hit a golf ball like that occasionally.
Where you really feel it, and
sweet.
You know it's a sweet spot.
You don't even feel it coming off the bat or the glove. You don't even feel it. If you were wondering right there what Bautista was just doing down there in the dugout, he's reaching up to get some of the air conditioning that's coming through. You see he's staying stretched and he's trying to stay loose, and he's reaching his arm up. There's some paneling up there above the dugout seat there that is air conditioned, and it's blowing to keep you cool.
Chris Colabello fights it off and fouls it into the seats. Colabello singled in his first at bat. He is one of 7 Blue Jays with 10 or more home runs. Colabello has been relegated to more of a role player now with the addition of Ben Revere. He was getting some time in left field. Probably not going to be the case. He'll be the DH from time to time. And he gives you a very potent bat to come off the bench as a pinch hitter.
He's the kind of guy with the type of swing where he could sit around for a day or two and then still come up. His swing is so sound. He can do that and come up and get you base hits.
It's this one off the end of the bat. Tanaka near the third base line makes a nice play. But the inning is over, but the Blue Jays add another run. And the home run does the trick. Jose Bautista, with 1 out in the 4th, gets a fastball to his liking and hammers it well out of the park and left.
Presented by the 2015 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
You could not ask for a better weekend of weather here in New York. That's beautiful Yankee Stadium. And the Blue Jays have really enjoyed their stay here. Short trip, just 3 days into the Bronx, and Blue Jays will head back home. They'll enjoy an off day tomorrow before the Oakland A's come to town for a 3-game series. Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday afternoon. Alex Rodriguez, the DH in the 3rd spot in the order, grounded out 2/3, his first timer. Alex turned 40 years old on the 27th of July. And he has had a storybook career, so why not hit a home run on your 40th birthday? That's what he did. Got a fly ball to left. Ben Rivera right on the edge of the warning track. Blue Jays have a new left fielder that can really cover a lot of ground.
You know what Marco Estrada has done so far this afternoon is he's taking the sting out of the bat of the New York Yankees. Throwing all these pitches and changing speeds like that.
You noticed something that has been absent early in this game from Estrada.
Yeah, he hasn't thrown a lot of change-ups. He's got one of the best change-ups, I think, in all of baseball. Deanna Navarro certainly thinks so. But at least the first time through and the first part of this ball game, he hasn't really used it that much. Maybe he's keeping it back.
Well, I think you have to let the hitters tell you what you do. And right now, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
He's been able to spot that fastball like that one right there, down in the strike zone. He's used his curveball. He's thrown a couple of nice cutters also to right-handers, where he has gotten some ground outs with it.
You see, Estrada was shaking, but that wasn't necessarily him shaking off a pitch. Navarro might just get him to shake his head once in a while. Put a little hesitation in Teixeira's head. And Mark Teixeira takes ball 4. Well, Blue Jays pitchers have matched their hitters since the All-Star break. And when you look at what the starters' ERA has been since the All-Star game, pretty impressive foursome here.
You know, we talked about that in the opening about if you want to go on the road and you want to come into these tough places like Yankee Stadium and win, you've got to get good starting pitching, and the Blue Jays have done that since the All-Star break. Look at some of these earned run averages since then. Price in his 2 starts at 0.6. Dickey, Estrada, Mark Burley. That's what it's all about.
No matter how good your offense is, if you don't get good starting pitching, you're not going to win games. David Price, with that great 7-inning performance, has improved his record to 5-0 over his last 7 starts here at Yankee Stadium. And now all of a sudden Estrada can't find the strike zone to Brian McCann. 6 straight balls thrown by Estrada. Marco has really done a good job of eliminating the base on balls. Coming into this game, he had walked just 7 in his previous 6 starts. Back-to-back 4-pitch walks, and Navarro will go to the mound.
Well, that's unusual right there. His command had been outstanding, and now 4 to Teixeira, 4 to McCann, and you're just asking for trouble.
That happened to Marco in his last start against the Twins in the 4th inning. When you look back at that outing against Minnesota, he gave up a base hit that hit him on the foot to Brian Dozier. Then he struck out Joe Mauer. Then he walked Plouffe and Sano back to back. He was able to minimize the impact. He had a sac fly and allowed just 1 run, but it was the 4th inning in his last start. The Blue Jays really want to complete this sweep. They have done such a great job of whittling into the Yankees' lead. And you want to make sure that you make up all 3 games if you sweep
Yeah.
and gain 3 games on the front runners.
This time of the year, with about 50 games to go, where you sit in the standings, you know, you shouldn't be happy with just a winning of the series, 2 of the 3 games. And I talked to some of the players and the coaches today about that same thing, and they said, no, we are locked in. We want to sweep this game. We're not going to be happy with winning 2 out of 3. There's not enough games left.
No, and unless you're in first place, winning a series doesn't do you much good. Just kind of spinning your wheels. Got to put a streak together, and the Blue Jays have. Carlos Beltran singled his first time up. Chases that high fastball.
That would have been 10 in a row. But Beltran a little anxious there, trying to put one in the seats and put the Yankees in the lead.
Well, now's the time to break out that changeup. He hasn't thrown it much through the first 3 innings, and the Yankees haven't seen it a lot. Fastball missed inside. A little cut on that one.
There's a perfect time for it, I think. 2-1. The way Beltran swung at that 2-0 pitch. Change up right here. Try to get him to roll on it. Get it on the ground.
Ground ball. Goins. Tulowitzki back to first. There's that double play. Back-to-back walks with 1 out. No problem for Estrada as the Blue Jays turn the inning-ending double play. It's 2-0 Jays. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zorn.
Tickets are hard to come by, but if you'd like to go see the Friday, August 14th game, you can take in the ball game from the comfort of an Acura luxury suite at Rogers Center. Your single ticket includes hostess and food for only $150. Reserve your tickets before they are gone, and my friends, they are going to go fast. 341-1635 is the number to call. Buck?
Should be a great weekend of baseball next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday when the Yankees are in town. Justin Smoke will lead things off for the Jays in the 5th. He grounded into a double play his first time up. Of course, we mentioned Smoke hit the first grand slam at Yankee Stadium for the Blue Jays. Blue Jays players had had 179 at-bats with the bases loaded in the Bronx before Smoke hit his first career grand slam, and the first grand slam for the Blue Jays here in New York.
That is so hard to believe,
isn't it?
Because of the great players that the Blue Jays have had, the great teams that they have had. You would think someone would pop one out somewhere.
179 at bats with the bases loaded, and no one hit a home run. Another off-speed pitch, and Tanaka's ahead 1-2. Masahiro Tanaka has earned a win in each of his last 4 starts after a Yankee loss. I mean, to me, that's another quality that aces have. They know how to stop losing streaks.
Give you quality innings, pitch you deep into the ball games. Help your team win.
Smoke strikes out, 1 down. John Gibbons is back in the dugout. He was ejected yesterday after the top half of the 3rd inning. He came out to defend his 3rd baseman, Josh Donaldson, was called for a swing to strike out to end the top of the 3rd. John Gibbons came out to talk with Greg Gibson, the home plate umpire, and Gibson threw him out before they really had a conversation. But Gibby told us this morning, you can't argue balls and strikes. I just wanted to come out there. He said he didn't know what I was coming out there for. I might have been coming out there and say, hey, how you doing, Greg?
Sure looked awfully calm, didn't he?
Goins grounds out to Teixeira, who flipped to Tanaka. 2 quick outs here in the 5th.
So Gibby got to go in the clubhouse into his manager's office and watch the rest of the ball game.
Yeah, he sat in his office and watched the game, watched the Yankee broadcast on television. It was quite complimentary to Michael Kay, the play-by-play guy for the Yankees. Hey, I really enjoyed your show. He just sat back and kicked back, and Michael Kay asked him, said, do you get involved in the game action once you're ejected? He said, no, I leave it up to DeMarlo. He said, I might have a suggestion or two regarding the pitching, but other than that, those guys know what they're doing. Kevin Pillar had a soft liner to second his first time. Masahiro Tanaka has now thrown 66 pitches as he's working with 2 outs here in the 5th. And the Blue Jays have done a good job of elevating the starter's pitch count throughout this series.
I thought they did a beautiful job in yesterday afternoon's game against Ivan Nova to really make him work to get into that 6th inning, and it showed in that 6th inning.
Nova threw 102 pitches in 5 1/3. Pillar bunts it to the pitcher. Quick inning for Tanaka. Smoke, Goins, and Pillar go down in order. The Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead. Chase Headley will start things off.
Exclusive match coverage of the Barclays Premier League, Bundesliga, Euro 2016 qualifiers, FA Cup, and more. Contact your television service provider to subscribe. Visit sportsnet.ca/world for details. Buck?
Barry, it's interesting, but they are now playing soccer here at Yankee Stadium. The New York soccer team has made this their home, and they will have another match here on Thursday night. So the grounds crew here has really been tested this season, playing soccer on a regular basis here at Yankee Stadium. So they'll start the conversion right after this game today and turn it into a soccer field for the match on Thursday night.
I thought you were talking about the Blue Jay players playing soccer pregame.
Well, they had the lines set out for the pitch here for the soccer match, and Blue Jays were out playing on Friday afternoon. Chase Headley struck out to end the second. Estrada again falling behind a Yankee batter here. It's 2-0. He got himself really into a jam in the fourth. Walking to Scherer and McCann on 8 pitches. It was with 1 out, but then the double play off the bat of Carlos Beltran ended the inning. It's going to reach the seats down the left side. It's sliced foul out of play.
He's been tardy on that fastball a lot this afternoon. It's almost like Marco is pitching backwards to what the Yankee hitters are expecting from him.
Marco has had the reputation of being a fastball changeup guy, but he's thrown more curveballs and cutters than I think the Yankees expected. For Estrada, this is just his second career start against the Yankees. He's made 1 other appearance, so they haven't faced him an awful lot. A total of 7 2/3 innings coming into this game today. And you're right, they're late on that 90-mile-an-hour fastball.
I don't know if they're expecting to see a changeup or a breaking ball more. So the whole secret to pitching, I think, in catching is reading bats. And right now, if you're reading the Yankee bats, they're looking for something off speed.
Well, there's a good changeup, and Headley strikes out, 1 down. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. He's got an update for us. Boy, Phil Hughes has really given it up lately. He lasted just 3 innings today against Cleveland. 7 earned runs on 9 hits in 3 innings for Phil Hughes. He threw 63 pitches over 3 innings, and he's out.
Didn't Cleveland score 17 against Minnesota?
Yeah, it was an ugly game, and Corey Kluber hasn't allowed a hit yet in 4 innings to Minnesota.
That was yesterday. Irvin Santana started for Minnesota, and Cleveland scored 17 on him.
Oh, 0-2 to Didi Gregorius. Back over the screen, and Gregorius trying to chase that hot pitch, got a piece of it. Boy, David Price has really fit in like a glove here. Everything he has done has meshed with this ball club. Today the Blue Jays added Cliff Pennington, another veteran. Pennington's a switch hitting infielder. Look out. Estrada, that's the last thing he wanted to do. He hits the number 8 batter, and Gregorius will take first base.
Yeah, with an 0-2 pitch, is trying to elevate that fastball one more time. Gregorius tries to back out of the way and hits him right in the shoulder. Trying to elevate that fastball, maybe setting up another pitch. You see Navarro up a little bit, and that ball just got away from Marco. But you're right, that's the last thing he wanted to do.
Yeah, you're down the bottom of the order, and every time you put one of these guys on base, you get closer to the trouble spots in this lineup. Stephen Drew had a sacrifice bunt in the third after Gregorius had singled. Changeup off the end of the bat. Donaldson is constantly looking around the infield, and now they're going to shift with 2 strikes. So Donaldson will go over and play the role of the second baseman. They'll keep the double play combination up the middle.
Josh turned a double play from this position the other day here. Ground ball to him, and he acted like the second baseman starting that double play.
0-2 to Stephen Drew. Another changeup, and Drew just barely got a piece of it. So the thinking by the Blue Jays as they realign their defense in the same at bat is that now with 2 strikes, Drew's not going to be as an aggressive pull hitter, and you just want to play your defense and keep them intact up the middle, so they might be able to turn a double play.
And he's not going to bunt now with 2 strikes. That's another reason why Donaldson has gone over, plug up that hole on the right side of the infield.
Strike 3 call. That fastball catches the outside corner. Stephen Drew doesn't agree with Marty Foster, the home plate umpire, but they use that fastball very effectively.
The 2015 Honda Civic is Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Marco Estrada, a couple of strikeouts in this inning. He has 4 this afternoon. Marty Foster, you could hear him say, "That's enough, Joe." And the umpires have been a little edgy in this series. Marty Foster working the plate, getting it from the skipper of the Yankees, Joe Girardi.
Threw him 3 changeups and then said, you know what, I'm going to go fastball right here, and it's on the outside corner. Punched out, and Drew's going to have something to say there. I wish, I'm sure John Gibbons wished he had one of those yesterday, one of those that's outside, so he'd stick around in the game. He got thrown out quick.
He got thrown out very quick. Jacoby Ellsbury 0 for 2 this afternoon, 0 for 10 in the series. Average at 270 for the center fielder. Ellsbury on this homestand, just 3 for 23. Pops this one out of place. Timing seems to be just a little bit off. He's hitting that ball back over home plate instead of out in front.
And that's part about reading bats also. He struck him out the first time with a high pitch, and then got him to pop up his last time up.
One of those 3 hits for Ellsbury was a game-winning home run he hit in the 7th inning on Thursday, and that went over his former team, the Red Sox.
Stay right there. Elevate that. I think the last thing you want to do is speed up a guy's bat when he is a little tardy on some of those pitches. So stay up there with 2 strikes. Maybe he'll fish and go after it.
2-2. Popped this one up. Might have been another changeup. He was out on that front foot. Goins, the second baseman, waits for it. Estrada is through 5 innings. He's allowed the Yankees no runs on 2 hits. Another good start for Marco. getting together with many First Nation communities, and they're having a baseball celebration in Kenora, and it's a big part of a major commitment by Jays Care Foundation to get involved with First Nation community across Canada and make sure that they extend the opportunity to play baseball to a lot of the youngsters. So it's a great celebration of baseball, and we congratulate the Jays Care Foundation for their great efforts. 9-1-2 for the Blue Jays here in the 6th. They lead 2-0. You come into this series, you say, okay, Blue Jays are going to win 2-1, 6-0, and have a 2-0 lead. You're going to say, who are they playing? They're not playing the Yankees in New York, are they? Generally, when these two clubs get together, it's a back and forth horse race. Lots of runs scored.
But they lined up their pitching staff, so it looks like the Blue Jays' best pitchers and the Yankees' best pitchers are lined up, and it shows. We've talked about that before, that good pitching stops good hitting.
No matter how hot teams are, you make good pitches, you'll get good hitters out. The Yankees, this will end their homestand, and then they'll go on the road. They'll go to Cleveland before they come to Toronto for a 3-game weekend series. The Yankees have 3 more homestands all season long. They have 2 10-game homestands and an 8-game homestand.
They're big ones, 3-teamers. And I think the farthest trip they have to take, they have to go to Tampa. Tampa and Atlanta are the 2 farthest trips in terms of time and miles.
Yeah, the Yankees' schedule certainly favors them. When you look at their record at home, they're 32-20 in home games, and they have 28 games remaining at home after this game today. And the significance of those 28 games, it's a span of 3 homestands. So you can't argue with that. Ben Revere trying to reach to start the 6th. Grounded out to third base his first time up. Tanaka didn't like the pitch selection by McCann, stepped off, and they'll go through another set of signs. He's still not in agreement, and now they're going to have to talk about it. Tanaka has such a wide assortment of pitches, it's got to be difficult for a catcher to hit on that right pitch every time.
You got to figure he's going to throw him a fastball, right? He doesn't want to walk him.
Yeah, you don't want to walk him ahead of Tulowitzki and Donaldson.
I'm sure that's what McCann was saying, fastball, and it looked like he was shaking him off, so maybe he's got another idea.
Ben Revere chased that cutter inside. Tanaka had a very good idea how he wanted to finish the at-bat, and he does with the strikeout.
He's getting so much movement on that breaking ball. As a hitter, you're thinking fastball. Look at that thing just curve right underneath your bat. So Tanaka won out on that one.
The Blue Jays have won 7 of their past 11 games here at Yankee Stadium. Overall, of course, they've won 7 straight and 10 of their last 11. Troy Tulowitzki looks at one downstairs. 2-0.
This was the inning where Von Nova was tired. He had just come off the disabled list, and you could tell that his pitchers were missing the strike zone. They were up, and the Blue Jays made him pay.
Third at bat, third time through the order. Went with an off-speed pitch.
Tanaka is a little bit different. Yes, he has spent some time on the disabled list, but he's had some starts now to build up that arm strength. He's good for 100, 105. His season high is 114. And he's a little bit different type of pitcher than Nova. He's got a little bit of extra in that arsenal.
Yeah, he can do so many different things with the baseball. He doesn't have to rely on 1 or 2 pitches. Got a cutter and a splitter and a slider and a fastball. He can throw the curveball occasionally.
I think a red flag that Joe Girardi has seen as Adam Warren has now gotten up and starting to throw is the long at bat to Ben Revere. Fell behind him 3-1, came back and got him. Fell behind Troy Tulowitzki 2-0.
Pulled on the ground. Headley 360 throws a strike to Teixeira, 2 down. So Josh Donaldson has homered twice in this series, both first inning home runs. His home run on Friday night off of Nathan Eovaldi. Donaldson has had 2 multi-home run games this season, 5 such games for his career. It's this ball deep into center. Ellsbury looking up into the sun. This will stay in the ballpark. And Donaldson just missed another home run. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. The Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead in New York.
Home run that put the Blue Jays up by a score of 2-0. The ball went out of the park really fast, gentlemen, and as fast as that ball went out of the park, Jose Bautista then found his way into the dugout and downed an entire bottle of water. And check this out, as we had the clock on Bautista, and he chugs like a college student would with that bottle of water going down, guys, in 6.50 seconds. Probably about the same amount of time it took for that ball to leave the park.
It's a warm day here in New York, and Bautista, after he circled the bases, came back, needed a little refreshment. Didn't want to waste any time drinking that water, so he got rid of it in a hurry. 2-0 Blue Jays. There have only been 5 hits in the game. The Blue Jays, 2 of those 5 hits have the ballpark. Chris Colabello has the other. It was a single. Donaldson and Bautista, for a second time in this series, have both hit home runs. Brett Gardner grounded out to the shortstop his last time up.
He wasn't real happy after that last at bat either, slamming his helmet down, and you can see he was really upset about a pitch that was called a strike on him. The second strike. He didn't look like he was real happy after that first one was called a strike too in this at bat.
Well, you remember what your coaches used to tell you, hey, you only need 1 to get a hit. But it seems like some hitters will allow the umpire to get in their heads just because of a questionable call. 0-2, Marco Estrada dealing to Brett Gardner. Yanni Navarro held on to the foul tip. Gardner will strike out. That's 5 strikeouts for Estrada.
You know, it's a really interesting at bat also. The pitch sequence, it was high fastball, then curveball. Now here comes the changeup. We're starting to see a few more of those now. Gardner foul tips it. What a job by Navarro to catch that ball before it hits the dirt. So Marco Estrada's starting to use all his pitches now.
Well, you picked up on it early that we didn't see that changeup in the first 3 innings from Estrada. Navarro and Estrada did a good job of keeping that in reserve. There's a changeup in the dirt to Alex Rodriguez. We mentioned Rodriguez homered on his 40th birthday. He has 24 home runs and 63 RBIs. And if you'd have gone to Las Vegas and put down a lot of money that Rodriguez would hit 20 home runs, you'd have been one of very few. I don't think anybody expected him to bounce back the way he has.
You would have lost. I think all of us, even guys in the business of baseball, didn't think that Rodriguez was going to do what he has done so far this season. But that's the makeup of a guy. The great ones, they have that ability to say, you know what, I'm going to prove you wrong.
This is his 11th season with the Yankees. It's hard to imagine he's been here that long. He started out with the Seattle Mariners in 1994. Made his debut as an 18-year-old. July 8th of 94. He won a batting title his first full season, 1996, when he had 358. Boy, Estrada is really mixing up his pitches very well. That's 6 strikeouts now for Marco. And a very defensive swing from Rodriguez. He just reaches for it, trying to foul it off.
I think he was assuming that he was going to get an off-speed pitch, and Marco crossed him up, threw a fastball. And you can see the flat-footed swing from Rodriguez.
Mark Teixeira lined out and walked. And this is the one guy that's hot in this lineup. You got to be careful of Teixeira. He had 2 hits in the opener on Friday night, including his 30th home run.
This is how I like facing Mark Teixeira right now. 2 outs, nobody on.
It's a high fly ball to left. Ben Revere coming in quickly. Donaldson goes out and makes the catch. Revere took a step back. Donaldson stayed with it. Marco Estrada is through 6th, shutting out New York. Canada's best-selling car 17 years in a row, and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Jose Bautista is having a good series, and he's having a good day. He's going to get the drive of the game by taking this pitch from Masahiro Tanaka and depositing it into the seats in left field for his 26th home run. And one of the things they do here at Yankee Stadium is they throw the ball back in, and I'll tell you, Bautista's having a good day. Brett Gardner's not so much having a good day.
How about that? They hit Brett Gardner with that home run ball when they throw it back on top of an 0 for 3. His own fans are throwing baseballs at him. It is not a good Sunday for Brett Gardner. Jose Bautista, well, he has had a good series. He was 1-for-4 yesterday, scored a couple of runs. Bautista homered, had that game-winning home run in extra innings on Friday night, part of a 2-for-4 night for Bautista. Adam Ward into the game. He faced two batters in yesterday's game, struck out Ryan Goins and Russell Martin, the only two hitters he faced.
He's got good stuff. Adam Ward, 6-5, 338 earned run average. He's thrown 101 innings. He's made a couple starts for him. He has also pitched out of the bullpen. Good numbers all the way around for Warren.
Tanaka out of the game after just 80 pitches. He goes 6 innings, charged with 2 earned runs on 3 hits, didn't walk a batter, and struck out 5. You just got to believe that Joe Girardi didn't want Bautista to face Tanaka for a 3rd time this afternoon.
Change things up, maybe a little bit more juice, if you will. A little bit better fastball from Warren than Tanaka.
In baseball today, managers and coaches receive a printout every single day, and it looks like the instructions on how you put a rocket ship together. It's got color-coded segments, hot zones, cold zones, pitcher matchups, what guys hit, what they had for lunch, what they ate for breakfast, and everything else you need to know about a hitter.
Yeah, the percentages of the time they're going to do that. It's amazing.
But the managers get those on their desk each day, and that's how they make these determinations. When they look at a pitcher matchup, and there are the scouting reports with all the matchups, and they carry binders around with them. The hitting coach will have a binder about the opposing pitchers. The defensive coaches will have a binder about how you set up the defense, and everybody has their information to carry it with them on the bench. Bautista has faced Warren in the past, no official at bats. Look out. Right over Adam Warren's back into center field. Bautista has his 2nd hit of the afternoon. A leadoff single here in the 7th. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Bartolo Colon for the Mets against Chris Archer for the Rays, and Tampa Bay, 3 RBIs by John Jaso has tied it up.
Check out Chris Archer, what he's doing strikeout wise this afternoon.
And 9 strikeouts in 5 2/3. He's also walked 4. Archer's thrown 112 pitches. How about the Mets? They made some changes to their roster, brought in Kelly Johnson and Juan Uribe, then added Yoenis Cespedes, and they've taken off a bit.
It's what they were missing. They needed some offense. They got great pitching. Just needed some offense.
Catcher Deanna Navarro for 2 so far this afternoon. Navarro's in the cleanup spot. In case you're just joining us, Edwin Encarnacion is dealing with a injured finger. He has had problems with it for about the last 10 days, and nothing really significant. They just hope that a day off today and the scheduled off day tomorrow, that he'll be okay to go on Tuesday. And if I were a betting man, I would say you can pencil in Edwin into the lineup on Tuesday night against Oakland.
You know, try and take care of it now. Get today off against a tough right-hander in Tanaka, although Edwin has pretty good numbers against him in his career, and then the scheduled off day. Take care of it before it gets worse.
Outside, 3-1 to Navarro. Everything has really clicked for the Blue Jays over this winning streak. They played great defense. Pitching has pitched ahead throughout all those games. The hitters have come up with huge hits, and the bullpen has been lights out. I mean, everything is clicking right now for the Blue Jays. Good rip by Navarro.
You know, this is what we were talking about with Edwin. If you missed it, watch when he swings the bat hit. Bottom hand comes off of it. You can see he's in obvious pain. And then when he gets a base hit, watch it one more time as he finishes his swing with just one hand on that bat. He would end up coming out of that ball game shaking that hand. And a little problem that he has dealt with now for about 10 days or so.
It came to a head during a session of batting practice at Rogers Center. And Navarro will take ball 4. So Bautista and Navarro reach against Warren to start the 7th. So John Gibbons doesn't have his big DH slugger in the lineup, but he's got an adequate replacement in Chris Colabello. Colabello is 1 for cheer. And with that single in his first at bat, he's now 12 for 19 against the Yankees in his career.
So he's not bunting.
He's not bunting.
He's not bunting. He's going to let it go. These are the types of situations where Colabello is very dangerous early in the count.
He loves to swing on the first pitch. Colabello thought it was inside, and pitch tracker might back him up. Looked like it was off the plate by about 4 to 6 inches.
Trying to jam him up with that fastball in the inner half. First pitch, Colabello's hitting over 500 on that first pitch.
Colabello not in total agreement with Marty Foster. Maybe not even a little bit. Both those balls look like they were off the plate, but now Colabello really has to battle. He's been put in a hole that's 0-2. Nobody out. Bautista at second, Navarro at first. Colabello has extended his hit streak to 7 straight. Ball in the dirt. Bautista always looking to get an extra 90 feet.
You know, I think this is where a hitter like Colabello in his spray chart, you look at that, he hits the ball all over the field. This is where you basically close off left field. You got a pitcher in Warren who throws hard. He's got a good breaking ball, and he'll get his share of strikeouts, but you got to close off the left side so you can track that ball just a little bit longer. Maybe shoot that ball back through the middle or over to right field.
Off the plate outside. Mike Winters down at first base. There's no swing, so it'll be 2 balls and 2 strikes to Colabello. He is back in the at bat. That got an awful lot of bat, but it may have got his hand as well. Colabello obviously in pain, and if that hit his arm, it really hit it flush, that's for sure.
Yeah, it sounded like it hit it really hard. You see he's got that elbow pad to protect that bone on the elbow.
Pitch was up and in, and they had pitched him inside. Watch where this hits. Boy, that hit him flush. It sounded like it hit the bat. It hit him so hard, but it hit the elbow pad.
That's what we heard, that it might have gotten the bat, but it might have got some of that pad. But he will take his base on that pitch up and in. You have to figure it's going to come up and in after a couple of breaking balls away. And Colabello is talking to you about trying to stay on that ball a little bit longer. He gets brushed back and gets hit.
Joe Girardi has popped out of the Yankees dugout. Now make a pitching change here. Justin Smoke, switch hitter, hit a grand slam batting left-hander yesterday. They'll turn him around, bringing in the left-hander. Left-hander Justin Wilson into the ball game, and he makes his 51st appearance of the season. Wilson pitched a third of an inning here on Friday night. The only man he faced was Ben Revere. He struck him out. Justin Smoke will turn around and bat right-handed for the first time this afternoon. Smoke doesn't have many at bats as a righty, but he's 6 for 15 with 2 home runs. That's a .400 average.
With that inside pitch, they should just keep going to it if they're going to keep calling it. The infield is now in for the New York Yankees. And if you're Justin Smoke, you're looking for something out over the plate that you can get into the outfield.
Smoke is 0 for 2. They had a good rip, another pitch inside at 96. Well, Smoke hit the grand slam yesterday. It was his first career grand slam. He's not fared well with the bases loaded, averaging 150. Bautista singled to start the inning. Navarro walked right behind him, and Chris Colabello got hit with a 2-2 pitch. Bases loaded, nobody out. Blue Jays trying to add to their 2-0 lead. They got some good arms in their pen. That one was 98 from Wilson.
They lead everybody in strikeouts with some of the flamethrowers that they bring in. Wilson's got a great arm.
You know, as good as the Yankees bullpen is, the Blue Jays match up statistically better than the Yankees bullpen. 1-2. Big strikeout for Wilson as Smoke goes down swinging. So now we're going to see Cliff Pennington for the first time. He was just acquired yesterday, made his way to New York, and he will come up and pitch hit for Ryan Goins. Boy, what an asset Pennington is, given the fact he's a switch hitter.
Yeah, and this is why you got him right here. John Gibbons was telling us before the ball game, you can hit right-handed. He's a switch hitter, obviously, but right-handed in these types of situations right here, when you've got a tough lefty out there in Wilson, you bring in a veteran right here with the bases loaded, looking for some kind of contact.
Pennington for the season with Arizona, batting .237. He had 32 hits in 135 at bats, facing Justin Wilson. He comes off the bench swinging. Well, Pennington, we met him early when he reported to the clubhouse, and he was ecstatic to be with the Blue Jays. Of course, he has a former teammate in Josh Donaldson. They both played together in Oakland. Bases loaded, now 1 out. Ball on the strike. Pennington this season batting .318 as a pinch hitter. He has a home run. He's 7 for 22 with a homer and 3 ribbies coming off the bench. Outside. Well, what a way to start your career with a new team in a pennant race, coming up in a big situation, trying to pad the Blue Jays lead here in the 7th.
Let me just do something here to help my new team. You don't want to get caught up in the moment right here. All you want to do is you want to focus on that pitcher right there and say, hey, this guy's got the pressure on him. He's got to come to me, and just don't try and do too much.
2-2 now. Pennington is in his 8th big league season, so he's been around. He is a .248 career hitter, as we mentioned earlier. A former #1 pick of the Oakland A's. Wilson strikes out the pinch hitter Cliff Pennington.
This team, the New York Yankees, in that bullpen, they've got some big arms. He wasn't going to mess around with them. That was just straight fastballs, one right after another. They lead all major league bullpens now with 386 strikeouts this season.
Well, Kevin Pillar is in need of a big hit. He's got an opportunity right now to get a big hit. He's 3 for his last 29.
With no tricks from this guy. He's just reaching back and just throwing fastballs.
Powder River, when you got that big heater like Wilson, why not? Wilson struck out Smoke, then got the pinch hitter Pennington. Now there are 2 outs, bases still loaded. Popped up in shallow right. Long run for Beltran. He'll get there. How about the job Justin Wilson does? Bases loaded, nobody out. Gets a couple of strikeouts and a pop-up. It's still a 2-0 Blue Jays lead as we head to the bottom of the 7th. Baseball partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Any accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. The Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead. They let a terrific opportunity slip through their hands in the top half of the 7th. Bases loaded, nobody out, and the left-hander Justin Wilson came out and put out the fire. Strikeout, pop-out. And the Blue Jays wasted that opportunity. They just couldn't come up with a big hit. Now they'll have to shut down McCann, Beltran, and Headley here in the bottom of the 7th.
John Gibbons, I'm sure, was just hoping for one of those runs to come across after it was set up nicely for him. But that's the effects that Joe Girardi has out of his bullpen. We've got all those strikeout type of pitchers out of that bullpen. You come in tough situations like that, and you can get out of it with nothing happening. So Still a tough ball game.
So Girardi, he's got a very good bullpen right now. He's got a very good offense that's struggling. 23 consecutive scoreless innings for the Yankees offense, and they have been in a funk. Blue Jays pitchers have helped extend that innings streak. R.A. Dickey on Friday night, David Price yesterday, and now Marco Estrada. There's Cliff Pennington. He started 7 games for the Diamondbacks at second. He takes over for Ryan Goins after coming on as a pinch hitter. 1 pitch, 1 out. Brian McCann goes after the first pitch. McCann is now 0 for 10 in the series. Boy, that's a big out. First out of the bottom of the 7th. The Blue Jays are playing with so much confidence. And how about the way Marco Estrada's pitching? 2 hits to the Yankees through 6 1/3.
Just keep doing what you're doing right now. I'm sure he was hoping that they would have scored at least 1 run.
Or
now,
6.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, absolutely 6. That's for Troy Hawkins, just in case Marco Estrada runs into trouble here in the 7th inning. Yeah, we are all hoping for 6.
Carlos Beltran fouls it off.
But you know what it does? That the Blue Jays came up empty there. Is now Marcos still has to pitch in a tight ball game. There's one mistake and it can be tied very quickly.
Well, that's why you love to see that leadoff man retired. Carlos Beltran has singled and grounded into a double play. Boy, Estrada has been very efficient. He's thrown just 79 pitches, and we're in the 7th. He had a bit of a hiccup in the 4th. He threw 8 straight balls and walked Teixeira and McCann back to back with 1 out. But then he got the double play off the bat of Carlos Beltran. That was the best opportunity the Yankees had this afternoon. The Blue Jays have not swept a series here against the Yankees in New York since 2003. That was a 4-game series, trying to sweep the Yanks here. The last time they swept a 3-game series was September 1998. Full count to Beltran. He stays alive. There's a couple of veteran lefties appear to be talking about pitching a little bit. David Price, Mark Burley. Another foul into the seats. R.A. Dickey has been as good as anybody coming out of the All-Star break. His ERA since the break under 1. Estrada walks Beltran.
The 2015 Honda Civic is Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
A 1-out walk issued by Estrada. That's the 3rd walk he's given up here. He's also hit a batter. Chase Headley. He takes a first pitch strike. Headley has struck out twice this afternoon. He grounded into a pair of double plays on Friday night. The Blue Jays have turned 1 double play this afternoon.
He has had him guessing all afternoon long. When he is sitting on an off-speed pitch, Marco is throwing him a fastball and vice versa. In a fastball count, he's throwing him a changeup.
Two and one.
They're patient at the plate, the Yankees. They don't panic. In these situations, you got to make pitches.
They, like the Blue Jays, have a veteran lineup. There you see Dylan Betances, the big righty, loosening up for New York. There's an opposite field base hit. Donaldson's going to have to hustle after. Here comes Revere. He hustles in quickly and gets the ball to Tulowitzki. Beltran stops at second. Headley goes the opposite way. Got jammed, but works Estrada for the base hit.
Yeah, he was getting beat all afternoon, like we said, that he just wasn't real sure what to do, but somehow it worked out for him. And now John Gibbons, he wants to give the Yankees something to think about in a different look.
Absolutely. He is going to mix things up. Didi Gregorius has reached twice against Estrada. He is single, was hit by a pitch, and Marco Estrada. Another fine outing by Estrada. He will leave with a 2-0 lead. The veteran LaTroy Hawkins into the game.
Presented by Boston Pizza. It will happen August 15th when the Blue Jays host the Yankees at 1:07. Join us pregame outside of Gate 10 for inflatables, activities, and lots of fun. After the game, kids 14 and under can run the bases just like the pros. Go to BlueJays.com for more details. Buck, if that series is anything like what we've seen so far this weekend, those Junior Jays are in for quite a show.
Going to be a great weekend when the Yankees return to Rogers Center. New pitcher is the veteran Troy Hawkins. He had an inning on Friday night, and he's been on a roll, allowed just one earned run in his last 18 1/3.
In that outing against the Yankees last time, he came up with a big double play. That was off the bat of Alex Rodriguez, and he's looking for the same thing right here. 29 games with Colorado, and Toronto has only walked 4. He's going to be around the plate.
Didi Gregorius has singled and was hit by a pitch. Beltran's at second. He walked. Headley's at first. He had a single. 2-0 Blue Jays lead. Yankees threatening in the bottom of the 7th. Hawkins jumps ahead with the first pitch strike. Gregorius is the only Yankee with 10 or more at bats in August hitting over 261. The team has been in a funk. Fouled off the foot of Gregorius. He got that pitch inside and made it right down into his foot.
Ball with a lot of movement right off the foot. Like you're saying, I'd go back in there. Hitters do not tend to want to swing when they foul a ball like that off their body. Maybe you can catch him looking for a strikeout.
The Troy Hawkins is in his 21st season. He pitched for the Yankees in 2008, appeared in 33 games for New York. He has pitched with Minnesota, Colorado, the Cubs, Houston, Milwaukee, the Mets, and the Yankees. San Francisco, LA, Baltimore, and Toronto. He has been around the block. His 2 of 7 inherited runners have come in to score with Hawkins on the mound. And he's ahead 0-2.
You know, and you see it with veteran types of pitchers in these situations. They've done it so many times. They're not going to get intimidated or nervous. They're going to concentrate on what they have to do to make pitches.
Line to Donaldson. He'll go to first. He may have had a better shot at second. Cliff Pennington was standing on the bag, but Donaldson looked across to first, and Headley was able to get back. Donaldson now talking to Tulowitzki about Pennington, but Cliff Pennington broke quickly, and he was standing at second.
Watch Beltran, the runner at second base. He thinks this is extra bases. It's a shorter throw, and there is a runner there. Good job by Smoke to pick that one, but the play would have been at second base. Happened so quickly. Beltran took a couple of steps, and he would have been out at second.
Chase Headley, the runner at first, has a better angle, and he could tell that Donaldson was going to catch that than Beltran running from second. So now there are 2 outs. Stephen Drew. Popped out of play. Drew is just 1 for 8 against LaTroy Hawkins. And LaTroy just calmly going about his business. He's been in this situation so many times in his career. No need to rush things.
Yeah, just take your time, think your way through this at bat.
Changeup. 0-2. The Blue Jays trying to extend their win streak to 8 straight. Trying to cut into the Yankee lead to make it 1.5 with a win here today. Navarro wanted it upstairs, and Hawkins delivered, and then Neonard had that ball hit his glove, but he couldn't hold on to it for the strikeout.
Thought he should have had it right there. That would have been a heck of a play from Navarro. You could see he wants it up, foul tip, and it's just off the edge of that glove.
If it hits in his pocket, Drew is out. Upstairs. 1-2. Jacoby Ellsbury is on deck. Got him. What a job by Hawkins. Upstairs with that high cutter, he gets the strikeout. Hawkins comes in and gets a line out and a strikeout. We'll head to the 8th. The Blue Jays still have a 2-0 lead.
By National Bank. Catch all the action from both Toronto and Montreal starting Monday on Sportsnet. Buck.
Great ball game once again here in Yankee Stadium, and LaTroy Hawkins, he comes out, puts out the fire, and Yana Venaro says, "You want this ball for your trophy case?" Just another outstanding inning for Navarro and Hawkins as Hawkins strikes out Drew to end the threat. The Yankees are now 0 for their last 18 with runners in scoring position, and Marco Estrada appreciative of the veteran Hawkins.
Yeah, left a couple of runners on there, and LaTroy left him out there, so Marco's going to end up with no runs given up this afternoon.
Ben Revere 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Grounder to Gregorius. Revere is out, first out of the 8th. There have only been 7 hits in this game. Marco Estrada allowed 3 hits over his outing. Once again, another terrific outing for Estrada. 6 1/3. Joe Girardi, boy, he got a good outing from the left-hander. Justin Wilson, he retires all 4 and pitched out of a bases loaded, nobody out situation. He is out of the ball game to face Tulowitzki. Right-hander will come on from the Yankees bullpen. He was the losing pitcher here on Friday night. He gave up the home run to Bautista in the 10th, and he is on to face the top of the order.
You can see why they brought him in. Right-handers hitting just 167 against Brandon Pinder. He had 2 walks, 10 strikeouts in his 15 2/3 innings pitched. Fastball slider. Has been mostly a reliever in his career in the minor leagues for the New York Yankees. So he's going to face the right-handers here with 1 out in the 8th inning. And the first guy he's going to face is a former player from Long Beach State, just like Brandon Pinder.
Yep. Troy Tulowitzki. He is 1 for 1 against Pinder. Tulowitzki is 0 for 3 this afternoon. Eighth inning, 1 out. Blue Jays scored a single run in the first, a Donaldson home run, and then Bautista matched Donaldson with a home run of his own in the 4th. Donaldson and Bautista both homered in the win on Friday night. Donaldson a first inning home run, Bautista a 10th inning home run. It's a pretty good formula. Ball on the strike to Tulowitzki inside.
Love the home runs, right? Love it. I think every run but 1 run in this series have scored on the home run. I love to see the Blue Jays put together a streak, some hits,
some base hits, and deliver some runs other than the home runs. Russell Martin had an infield single in the 8th inning in yesterday's game. That drove in a run. Tulowitzki called for the swing. 2-2 now.
Yeah, both of these teams are in tough. I mean, there's some good pitching going on right now. You be the judge for yourself. Does he go around? That is called a strike by the first base umpire. I mean, when you get that starter out of there, you think, okay, we're in the bullpen. Well, it gets tougher.
We mentioned how evenly matched these two bullpens are, and the Blue Jays bullpen doesn't get the credit it deserves because it doesn't have a lot of saves. But overall, when you look at walks per 9 innings, strikeouts to walks, hits per 9 innings, Blue Jays are right there with the Yankees. The Blue Jays earned run average 328 for the bullpen. The Yankees 327. Yankees are 5th. The Blue Jays are 6th.
I looked at that all over. You know, base runners allowed. If you look at that, which I think is really important, the Yankees right there. Blue Jays have the 2nd fewest in the American League coming into this series. The 2nd fewest base runners allowed.
Hits per 9 innings, the Yankees are 3rd, the Blue Jays are 4th. And they're 1-2 right there, neck and neck. So Tulowitzki takes the walk. Pinder walks the first man he faces, and it's curious that Joe Girardi would worry about lefty-righty matchups when Wilson was throwing the ball so well. Justin Wilson, 2 strikeouts. He retired all 4 batters he faced, and he was blown.
Yeah, came up with some big strikeouts to help them get out of that bases loaded, nobody out jammed last inning. And it's not like they're bringing in Swiss cheese right here. This guy's hitting 97 with his fastball.
He is throwing hard, but Wilson only threw 13 pitches to retire 4 batters. Josh Donaldson 1 for 3. That home run came in the first, and he jumps back from an inside pitch. They're working Donaldson inside. Both of his home runs in this series have been on pitches away that he hits the seats in right. Think he might look inside here?
Yeah, well, he's such a smart hitter. We've seen him sit on pitches this year.
Inside, but it was a backup breaking ball meant to be away. Two and 1. Donaldson doesn't get cheated, does he?
No, he doesn't. You know, what we've noticed watching him is you can see him thinking through these at-bats whenever he's at the plate. He steps out. He might adjust his gloves or look at his bat, but he's thinking right along with that pitcher, trying to remember what he did to him last time, or looking at some of the film.
Base hit. Line drive base hit into center. Donaldson got that breaking ball. It's his 2nd hit of the game, and now Bautista will face Brendan Pinder, and these two met up on Friday.
It was a 1-1 game until Bautista hit this 2-strike pitch just over the wall in left field. It ended up being the game winner for the Blue Jays, so there's a little history now between Jose Bautista and Brandon Pinder.
Bautista 2 for 3 today. He's homered and singled. The home run against Pinder is only at bat against the right-hander. Blue Jays left the bases loaded last inning. The only 3 base runners they've stranded. Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach, has come out of the Yankees dugout. He's going to go out and see if he can help his young right-hander. get back into the strikeout. Well, the Blue Jays have whittled off 5.5 games in the past 11 days to close ground on the Yankees. They've won the first 2 games here, Pat, and boy, what a series it has been to this point for the Blue Jays.
They can get it to 1.5 or 3.5. That's how big this game is right here for the Blue Jays. If you're thinking about them, and talk to some of them today, and every one of them are saying, you know, we're not satisfied with 2 out of 3. We want to keep the pressure on the New York Yankees. I'll tell you, I've been in both of these situations when you're chasing the guy or the guy being chased, and it's not a very comfortable position when you're at the top and you got a hot team coming right after you.
The Blue Jays, a game and a half out. That would be the closest they've been since July 7th. Bautista looks at one outside. Jays have won 7 straight. If they win their 8th in a row, it'll be the 2nd time this season they've had winning streaks of 8 games or more. They had 11-gamer back in June. Bautista was looking for something inside, and that pitch was away for a strike. Now it's 2-2. That time Pinder threw that breaking ball inside. Started it off the plate.
That might have been the message right there from Larry Rothschild. No fastballs to Bautista. We saw what he did to that fastball the other night.
Another breaking ball. This one's off the plate. Full count to Bautista. Tulowitzki's at second. Donaldson's at first. Jason Shreve, the lefty. Another breaking ball, and Bautista strikes out.
You knew that was coming, didn't you? You knew that he would throw him another breaking ball. He didn't throw him a fastball. After Larry Rothschild went out there to talk to him, so Bautista goes down, 2 down, and Joe Girardi back out on the mound.
So Pinder.
For 17 years in a row, and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
New pitcher is the second left-hander the Yankees have used in this game. It's Jason Shreve. They have 3 lefties down, and they still have Andrew Miller in their bullpen. Shreve has pitched very well for New York.
Good luck charm. 6-1 with a .213 earned run average in 38 games. He's a little bit different than the lefties that they have down there. He's not the power pitcher that we saw in Justin Miller, but he gets his share of strikeouts. 45 of them in 42 and a third inning because of a breaking ball. He's got an outstanding breaking ball, and he'll throw it to righties.
Johnny Navarro will bat with 2 outs and runners at first and second. Navarro, switch hitter, batting right-handed for the first time this afternoon. He's gone 0 for 2 with the walk. Blue Jays wasted a golden opportunity to add to their lead in the 7th. They had the bases loaded and nobody out and couldn't cash in. Stranded, the bases loaded. Johnny Navarro batting right-handed. Just 5 for 22. Does have a home run. Blue Jays will take a single right here just to add to their lead. 2-0 Jays.
And if you're the runner out there at second base, Troy Tulowitzki, get a big secondary lead so you can score on any hit to the outfield.
Strike right at the bottom of the zone. 2-1 now. Shreve has allowed just 3 of 23 inherited base runners to score. Very effective in these situations.
And there's the breaking ball. It's a funky delivery that he has, that long arm swing, and players look like they're having trouble picking that ball up, but he'll get a share of strikeouts. Very deceptive, and his pitches have a lot of movement on it.
Shreve is just 25 years old. Outside, he came to New York in a trade from the Atlanta Braves. The Yankees sent longtime minor league prospect Manny Banuelos to Atlanta and picked up Shreve and David Carpenter. 3-2, 2 outs. The runners will be off on the pitch. Tulowitzki from second, Donaldson from first. There they go. Ground ball to third. Big hop for Headley. The inning is over. The Blue Jays lead 2 more. They've stranded 5 base runners in the last 2 innings. Aaron Sanchez will come in to work the bottom of the 8th. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn.
2005 American League East Division Championship. That was the first year the Blue Jays ever made the playoffs, and a big part of that, Bell, Mosby, and Barfield. The first 20,000 fans will receive the alumni bobblehead presented by TD, and isn't it a beauty? Pre-game ceremony starts at 12:45, so arrive early, and from what I'm hearing, all three of those gentlemen will be around next weekend, so a great chance to check out that amazing outfield and catch one of those great bobbleheads as well. Buck?
Should be a great weekend to celebrate that 85 division championship. The Yankees will be in town. Aaron Sanchez will make his second consecutive appearance against New York here.
Just came off of that 3-game suspension. Blue Jays were able to get him into the ball game yesterday. And Aaron was 1-2-3 in the 8th inning, and now he will face the top of the order. There are the numbers.
Kobe Ellsbury takes a strike from Sanchez. Aaron threw just 12 pitches in his outing yesterday. Sanchez got Ellsbury to ground out. Nice defensive play by Goins at second. Sanchez facing the top 3 in the order for a second straight day. He got Ellsbury to ground out, struck out the pinch hitter Gardner, and then got Rodriguez to fly to center. The Yankees were shut out yesterday for just the 4th time this season. Yankees and Blue Jays both have been shut out 4 times. The Tigers have only been shut out 3 times. Ellsbury again bounces to second. Pennington has it. 1 down. Boy, the complexion of the Blue Jays bullpen has absolutely changed dramatically. All of a sudden they've got power arms down there, and since Sanchez has returned from disabled list, he's been the 8th inning guy.
And it's been a tough decision. I think it was a tough decision for the Blue Jays. They knew Sanchez was coming back off the disabled list. Do we put him back into the starting rotation and try and get through there because they needed a starter at the time? Or do we finish out the season by putting him in the bullpen and putting him in that spot, that 8th inning? I think the Blue Jays were going to have him, if it wasn't for the injury to Marcus Stroman, pitch the 8th inning or the 9th inning to start the season out of spring training. But then after he came back off that injury and he's 100%, they put him out there, and the whole bullpen has come together.
Yeah, it sure has. Bo Schultz has thrown the ball very well. He has been dropped down into the 7th inning. He can close too as well. If Sanchez and Osuna happen to pitch a lot, now they have Lowe and Hawkins as well. Sanchez falls behind 3-0. Four-pitch walk with 1 out. That'll bring the tying run to the plate.
That's why you love those add-on runs that the Blue Jays missed out on the last couple of innings. You know, after a walk, you bring that tying run to the plate.
Alex Rodriguez 0 for 3 this afternoon. He only has 1 at bat against Sanchez. He's 0 for 1. Donaldson at third, guarding the line. Tulowitzki and Pennington straight away in the middle. Bouncing ball. Pennington at second, flips to Tulowitzki, and that's all they'll get. Brett Gardner with a good hard slide was able to disrupt the double play.
Boy, that was a tricky hop right at the end, right there off the bat of Rodriguez. Watch this ball right at the last second take a tricky hop and a good shovel by Pennington, but the hard slide by Gardner with his speed getting down there. Tulowitzki was smart just to hold on to that ball.
2 outs now. Mark Teixeira 0 for 2 with a walk. Sanchez gets ahead with a fastball.
Good low ball hitter to Sherry. He goes down and gets it and tries to lift the ball to right field. So keep that ball away from him so it stays in the big part of the ballpark.
Navarro was set up outside and Teixeira was late. I agree with you 100%. Don't even flirt with the inside.
Nope. Just 314 down the right field line, and you can see Teixeira drops that back shoulder and tries to lift the ball out of the ballpark.
What's wrong with that one? Sanchez didn't get the call. Ball just off the plate, and Teixeira laid off it. I'd stay right out there.
Got that good moving fastball. Stay out there, throw one just a little bit closer.
97, but well out of the zone. 2-2. Tip held onto by Navarro. Sanchez pitches around the 1-out walk, strikes out Mark Teixeira. And the Yankees continue to have trouble against the Blue Jays bullpen. Great sinker ends the 8th.
Posted 22 consecutive complete games, one of the more remarkable performances in history. And Sportsnet presents the Rick Langford Story tonight, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Guys, back in those days, I don't think they had bullpens as deep as what we're seeing here today, do they?
They didn't need them. Everybody pitched complete games. Rick Langford threw 290 innings that year when he pitched for the A's. They had Langford winning 19. Michael Norris won 22, Matt Keel won 16, and Steve McCatty won 14. As a team, they had 94 complete games.
94 complete games. What year was that?
That was 1980.
1980.
Billy Martin was the manager. Charlie Finley was the owner. Finley was the owner and general manager. He did everything.
Yeah, he could do whatever he wanted. That was the start of Billy Ball, wasn't it? In the early 80s like that out there in Oakland?
Yeah. This is Chris Colabello. He has been the DH this afternoon. Colabello is 1 for 2. He was hit by a pitch in the 7th. 3-0. Roberto Osuna loosening up for the Blue Jays. He picked up his 9th save of the season in that 2-1 ball game in extra innings on Friday night. Colabello gets the green light, 3-0. John Gibbons has been consistent in giving his hitters the green light. He said they're all patient, they're all selective, and if they get the count in their favor, I want them swinging.
Yeah, he's got a lot of confidence in him. I think in this situation, you got the lead, you're ahead in the count. Why not get a good pitch to hit? Do something with it. Give your hitters the freedom to let it go.
It's a high fly ball to Shera over near the seats, and this ball is just off of his glove. Teixeira got to the wall and then got into a little bit of a scuffle with a fan, and Teixeira's upset. He leaned into the seats. He actually got his glove on the pop-up.
Yeah, he's a Gold Glover, and he feels like he should have made this call. You see, he's going to try and push the fans out of the way. It's in the glove, and then it's out of the glove. And I think that's where he got upset right there, when the fan bumped into him trying to go get the ball. Watch how hard he hits him. Knocks him back. Say, hey, man, let me get out of the way first.
Yeah, the fan got excited about that baseball potential of getting a souvenir, and Teixeira was very vulnerable as he was stretched out, leaning into the seats. Full count to Colabello, leading off the ninth. He strikes out. Good breaking ball from Shreve.
Done a good job against right-handers this season. They're only hitting 149 because of pitches like that. He'll throw a 3-2 breaking ball.
Justin Smoke 0 for 3. Blue Jays have just 5 hits. Bautista's got 2. Donaldson has 2. Colabello has the other hit. The Yankees have 3 hits. All singles. The Blue Jays about homered the Yankees 6-1 in this 3-game series. Blue Jays pitchers have been terrific.
Yep. They really have. It's lined up nicely for them.
Smoke bounces it to short. Big hot for Gregorius. 2 down. The Yankees haven't scored in 25 innings. Their last run came on Friday night in the 2nd. Teixeira hit the home run. That's been it. And they were red hot coming into this series.
You know, and I think you have to talk about, and we do a lot, about the Blue Jays offense, but I think you have to start talking about how well they have been pitching the baseball since the All-Star game.
If they can make this score stand up, the starters will go 9-0 since the All-Star break. And they have all pitched very well. This is Cliff Pennington. He entered the game as a pinch hitter and struck out for Goins. That was the 2nd out of the 7th inning. Pennington just acquired yesterday by the Blue Jays. Pennington is a switch hitter. Pennington has postseason experience, 2012 with Oakland. Three and 1, 2 outs. We're in the top of the ninth. Blue Jays trying to sweep the New York Yankees. Foul tip into the glove of McCann. Looking ahead for the Yankees, bottom of the ninth, it'll be McCann, Beltran, and Headley. Ball 4. Pennington will draw the 2-out walk. Pennington has had a 29 stolen base season. That was in 2010 with Oakland. He was 29 for 34, caught just 5 times. This season for the Diamondbacks, he is 3 for 3 in steals. Pilar fouls it straight back.
Well, you'd love to see a double right here from Kevin Pilar, wouldn't you?
The Blue Jays have stranded 5 base runners the last 2 innings.
And been able to drive the ball yet in this series, get behind one and get it into the gaps.
Up behind home over the screen, out of play. Pilar 0 for 3 this afternoon. Speed pitch, and Pilar strikes out. That'll end the top half of the 9th. The Blue Jays with a 2-0 lead. Roberto Osuna will come on. He picked up a save on Friday night, trying to do it here on Sunday. And always look at the starting pitchers of a particular team and how well they're throwing. Well, the Blue Jays starters in this series have really set the tone for the potential sweep.
They certainly have. They've given up 1 earned run in 20 in the 3rd inning so far. The starters, it was set up by Dickey with his 7 innings. David Price followed that up with 7 innings, no earned runs, and then Marco Estrada pitching into the 7th inning and not giving up an earned run. What that does is it really sets up your bullpen too. When a starter can go that deep, John Gibbons can use his bullpen, set it up, guys get the proper rest, they come in and they do their thing, and it just all works together.
Roberto Osuna picked up the save. He had a clean 10th inning on Friday night. That was his 9th save of the season. This will be his 48th appearance.
Great numbers all the way around right there. 12 walks and 53 strikeouts for Osuna. He's tied for 7th in innings pitched among American League relievers at 49 2/3.
Brian McCann will lead things off. He takes a first pitch strike. McCann discussing that call with Marty Foster. Osuna has the ability to ride that fastball down in the zone. It looks like it's going to be low, but it maintains its elevation. Fair ball. Smoke knocks it down. They got time. McCann's retired. One down. Boy, Justin Smoke, he is invaluable defensively at first. He can pick balls out of the dirt, and he's got terrific range.
Yeah, watch where he starts on the line with the shift, and that is a fair ball. He gets that ball. You can see from that replay from down the line how much that ball hooks. And as a first baseman, a left-handed throwing first baseman, the ball handcuffs him momentarily, but he takes his time and finishes off the play.
The Blue Jays bullpen has matched the starters in efficiency in this series. This is Carlos Beltran. He takes a strike.
Well, he's got a lot of confidence on that mound. Anytime the ball's hit to the right side, get over there. And he gets over there and then waits and finishes off the play.
With that out, the bullpen has now thrown 7 innings in this series. No earned runs, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts.
And very efficient, where they're not having those long innings, 20, 25 pitch innings.
Ground ball to Tulowitzki. He's got it. 2 down. The Blue Jays haven't swept a series here in New York against the Yankees since May of 2003. That was a 4-game sweep. The last time they swept a 3-game series here in the Bronx was September of '98. Osuna pounds the strike zone. Chase Headley, the third baseman. Strike 2. Hawkins threw 9 pitches. He closed out the 7th, got the final 2 outs. Sanchez needed 14 pitches to close out the 8th. He allowed a walk, had a strikeout. What a pleasant surprise Roberto Osuna has been for the Blue Jays.
Well, since the first time we saw him here in this ballpark, when he took the mound for the first time, he's just looked like he has pitched a long time in the big leagues. He's able to move that fastball around the strike zone. And when you possess that type of fastball with the type of command that he has, you can do a lot of things. Navarro keeps going back to that high fastball, and it looks big to Headley. He's just getting a piece of it to stay alive.
You can see Encarnacion with that left middle finger wrapped. Good opportunity to give him the day off here today. 1-2 to Headley. Got him. Ball game. Osuna picks up his 2nd save of the series, his 10th of the season, and the Blue Jays sweep the Yankees in the 3-game series.
Looked a lot like the Friday night game where Donaldson homered for the first run and then Bautista homered for the 2nd run, and they won 2-1. Today they do the same thing. They get a home run from Donaldson in the first. Bautista again in the 4th. Had a big day. And the Blue Jays come into New York on a roll, and they keep it going, sweeping the Yankees, pulling within a game and a half.
It's the first time the Yankees have been shut out in back-to-back games since 1999. The Blue Jays allowed New York just 1 run into 3 games, a game and a half behind New York. Here's Blue Jays Central, Jamie Campbell and Greg Zorn.